Hey everybody, how's it going? My apologies for this episode sounding funny. I'm outside in 24 degrees. 2 days ago it was 64 degrees. Today it's about 24 degrees. This is insane. I've lost my ski mask a few months ago and I forgot to buy a new one. I thought since it was 60 degrees outside I'd have some time. Apparently not. But anyway, let's go over where we left off in the last video. In the last video I said that I know that they are willing to pay a broker's fee because I settled that, and they also said they were open to paying for some construction. So what I did with that knowledge is I figured, wait, you were open to paying a $30,000 to $40,000 broker's fee. That tells me that's in your budget, and you were also willing to pay for a little bit of construction. So I got a little greedy, perhaps more greedy than I should have. And I asked for 3 months free rent. I said remove that office at the front, tear down that wall, and 200 amp electrical service, tear down wall, and 3 free months. 200 amp electrical service because I'm sick and tired of where we are now, where you have a choice. Do you want to use the Zalmo or do you want to use the air conditioner? Does Paul get to use the hot air station or does Chris get to use the hot air station? Like, this stuff is dumb, but it's because the electrical service where I am right now is shit. Now, usually when we're going back and forth, it's good to be able to walk away from the deal. And here I wasn't able to, and I'll explain why. So, they came back and they said, okay, we'll do the construction, but no free rent. And I said, nah, you gotta do better than that. Come on, man. Like, you're saving a lot of money on broker's fees. 2 months. They're like, no, okay, about 2 weeks or 1 month. And I said, okay, how about a month and a half? And we came to a deal there. Now, previously, I was using the simple walk-away strategy every time they said no to something I asked for. Now, in order to walk away from a deal, 2 things have to be true. The first is you need to believe that the other side is not being fair with you, so that you feel morally and ethically justified in walking away. And the second thing that's important is that you're okay with losing the deal. Now here, I don't believe the other side is not being fair. Keep in mind that I found my store had been on the market for about 6 months to a year before I found it, and it was on the market at a price around $68 a square foot. Awful condition, awful garbage condition. 2 years outside of the recession, 2 years after the recession, and it was $68 a square foot. This space is $66 a square foot at the height of a real estate bubble, and it needs virtually no work, and it's in a nicer area. It's in a nicer area. It needs some work. Like, the floor's got to be redone. But for the most part, it's not like my current store where I could look down and I could literally see the basement. Like one of those 1970s cars that's all rusted. If you try to take it for a drive in 2019, you just look down and you see the road. And the second is I'm not willing to walk away from the deal. I spent 6 months to find the place I have now, and that was recession pricing, and also pricing based on 7 years ago, 8 years ago actually. Inflation has done a number on things since then. So the deal is too good for me to lose it, so I wasn't willing to walk away. So we came to terms there. So they're going to do 200 amp electrical service. They're going to tear down the front crappy office that makes the place invisible. And I'm going to do the rest of the work that I want to do to the space, and I get a month and a half free rent. We went from $13,000 to $12,500, which, again, brings us to $66.6666 per square foot. Somebody said they were unsubscribing because of my support for Satan in the last video. Kind of made me laugh, but what are you going to do? I still want to create that club, by the way. That thing where if you're okay being on the 13th floor, having 10 sixes in your telephone number, or having $66.666 per square foot, then you get a discount because of superstitious people. So I believe we got the makings of a deal. My lawyer went back and forth with them for a while. I may have her on the show at some point just to have her discuss some of the main clauses that you should look out for in commercial leases and all that. She seems like a decent enough attorney. So now we just got to get into the mindset of, well, how nice do you want to make this space? A lot of that's going to depend on funding. I've gotten a couple of you reached out to me and said, when you're dealing with a bank, there was that untitled video I did where I was talking about the frustration in finding financing. And they had said, here are some things you could say, or here's how you could phrase it that'll make you more likely to get what you're asking for. And I really appreciated that. I reached out to some of the financial institutions and individuals, and some of them, weren't having it at all. Some of them were more open and receptive. So we'll see what I hear back. A lot of you have been posting saying, you should do a GoFundMe, or why don't you have a Patreon, or you should do a GoFundMe. I've been getting these comments for about 4 years now, since I did a video on Patreon about 3 or 4 years ago. The one thing that's changed from then, the one thing that's like really, really changed from then that I was debating, discussing in its own video, is where I learned that due to the legal gray area that the content I put out occupies, and due to the fact that I've essentially taught other people how to do exactly what I do, it makes people much less comfortable. Because there was, there were the people I was talking about in the Untitled video that said, we would feel uncomfortable lending because you have essentially taught other people how to do what you do, and that makes you less competitive. It's not that you show people that you can do it. It's not that you don't demonstrate competence, you teach competence. So demonstrating competence would be, camera over my head, watch me fix this, no backlight, soldering, a little bing bang boom, and it works. Whereas demonstrating competence is saying, here's why I believe that quarter fan spin is caused by either current sensing or clock chip. Here's the mindset I'm in for it, for me to have that thought process, and here's the mindset that you should have, so that you can figure it out. So the way it was explained to me, essentially, you're teaching competence, not demonstrating it. And for proper marketing, you need to demonstrate competence, not just teach it, because that undercuts you. But there was one individual, when I was dealing with some of the loan officers, or whatever the hell you want to call it. They have all these weird names for these people. It's kind of like if you work at Model Sporting Goods, you're not a stock boy, you're an associate. I don't know. I forget the funny name that some of these companies have, the financing companies that give out loans. The other one, they said, honestly, you also kind of occupy a legal gray area. Like, have you Googled yourself? And I'm like, yeah. Because one of the interesting things is, I never actually settled that thing with the schematic being in the video. It was like 3 years ago. It was 3.5 years ago. Yeah, 3.5 years ago that I very, very, very politely told Kilpatrick and Townsend to go F themselves. If you want my content with the schematics taken down, violate the MCA claims so everybody can see that. So that everybody can see that you don't want people to know where the fuse is in your products. And they didn't. There was just public backlash, and they just decided to avoid it. So I found myself speaking to loan officers in a very similar regard to how the lobbyists were speaking to the senators. So, well, does this mean that you settled it? Is there a legal precedent that they can't go after you for it? So what happens if they do? Did that case ever complete? I have nothing to say there. I'm just staring I'm just sitting there like an idiot whose PCH went on fire right after he fixed his pee-pee bush short. And yeah, I think that has more to do with it. I kind of think that some of the people who were saying that your content, you're teaching people how to do what you do, I think that was their way. I don't know if they didn't really want to say what the truth of it, which is we just don't want the legal liability of investing in a company that posts shit that's in a legal gray area, but we'll see what it is. But my mindset has somewhat changed on this from where it was like 3 or 4 years ago. Because 3 or 4 years ago, I was just strictly like no Patreon, none of that kind of crap. But if I'm at the point where the amount of where creating education that's allowed people to make additional money in their own businesses is the reason that I can't get funding when I need it for my business. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. With any luck, I hear something back that's happy over the next few days. I want to make some separate budgets. Holy hell. I'm glad that bus has a horn because I don't. Anyway. I want to make separate budgets for this place. So we'll have let's say I get no money budget. That'll be the, put a patio door in the front kind of budget. We'll have like a mid-range budget. We'll have like a high-end budget. So I think the matters that are going to determine this the most are, how long do I keep the old place open for? Because people are going to keep going to the old place if they see that the old place is open. You know, they're going to, or no, wait, let me rephrase that. If people, even if I change the address in the website and Yelp and Google Places and all that, just based on, you know, word of mouth, people are going to still go to the old location. God forbid, mail may still get sent to the old location for a while. Like whether I want to level the floors or not is going to be a big part of it. One thing that drove me nuts with this store is the floor is not flat, and like your chair kind of sinks into a dip, or it's off kilter. So when you want to lean into the microscope on a flat desk, it's aggravating. Like, you know, the kind of desks I get for people, stuff like that. But one way or the other, I'm kind of happy because a lot of people said that you're not going to be able to find better than their specific spaces. And the thing that I think is really cool is that the space that was not the most obnoxious, I would say the second or third most obnoxious about it, is the space that's literally right next to this one. Like 2 stores down is that pantyhose dump. Fucking dump. I wish I had video from the second time I went through it, because you can actually, what is this, a ramp? Is this a ramp? Is this BMX? Can I climb on that? No, I'm gonna get in trouble if I do that. That grinder's gonna turn on. You see that like little grinder looking thing up ahead? If I go over this at full speed and I fall into that, I'm dead. But I kind of want to do it anyway. Look, there's space behind me for this. See? There's just enough space behind for me to go right up that ramp. Oh, it's tempting. Okay, I'm not gonna do it. But anyway, you didn't get to see the video of the pantyhose place, but at that pantyhose place, at the ceiling was actually they had drop ceiling over the ceiling that was the original ceiling, which was falling apart, and there was a hole in the drop ceiling, and they wouldn't even they didn't even hide it. Like, I understand if you don't want to fix the original ceiling, because that's expensive, but you're not even going to replace the drop ceiling tile that's going over the fucked up ceiling while you're telling me $13,000 or $14,000 for the space with a straight face as you're just get the fuck out of here. And it's just it's like the guy's saying I don't know what you're expecting, man, but yeah, like right next door, 10 times better. Beautiful. I think this is a testament to the fact that you should keep searching until you find what you want if you know it exists. If you know something good exists, keep looking until you find it. Don't settle. And above all, when it comes to 90% of what you hear, not 99%, out of the commercial landlords and realtors and brokers in New York City, besides maybe Alan, they're all full of shit. Thank you. They're seriously all full of shit. Like restaurant guy saying it's not right to ask for a concession after a lease is out. You never told me there was no concession to begin with. Or the other, no, this is it. This is the way the deal is. We're not changing anything here. This is the deal. Take it or leave it. And then the guy comes back with $1,000 less rent and 6 months free. I don't think I ever posted the audio of me negotiating with the Lexington Avenue space, but they were saying you're not going to find better than this, you're not going to find better than this, you're not going to find better than this. I found 150 more square feet a few blocks west, and it's cheaper, and it's all in one space. The 30th Street space saying, like, the last 4 months, that's normal as a deposit, or you're asking for too much. Or I remember when they were like doing the pearl clutching at getting rent down to $12,000 and $12,800. This place is cheaper per square foot and better condition. Just like all these people who are telling you what is normal or what you should expect. Like, they're just vultures, parasites, every last one of them. All of these people, like, especially the Karen broker, the one that was saying you're not gonna, well, then you're just not gonna find anything. If that's what you want, you're just not gonna find anything. If that's what you're expecting, you're not gonna find anything. She showed me a space that was 1,700 square feet for about $19,000, $18,000 and $19,000. This space is $12,000. It's in the same area, around 12,500, and it's 500 square feet larger. It's just like, this is the lady that said you're not gonna find better than this, and she actually showed me another space that was on 30th Street and 7th Avenue. This place is 27th and 7th Avenue. She showed me a space on, I think, 30th Street and 7th Ave. 30th Street and 7th Ave. It was about $19,000, and it was about 100 square feet less than this one. You're not gonna find better than this. You're not gonna find better than this. Oh man, I just like. Would it be immature for me to just want to call up all these people and have them meet me? Like say, can you meet me at this place? And just say, remember when you said I wouldn't find a better space? Measure this one. Like I realize that's being childish, but I'm just sick and tired of people who are salespeople like that. They're just, annoying. But yeah, the next video you see is most likely going to be me signing a lease and walking into the new space. So I'm happy. I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. I guess I'll give you a little walking tour of this dump. Let's open the door up. Hello.
How did chain work?
It works amazing. Thank you, Chris.
Anytime.
Did you know that Chris is a bike mechanic?
Chris is what?
Chris is a bike mechanic.
Bike mechanic?
He fixed my bike.
Oh.
Oh. Hello.
Good morning.
How's walking pneumonia? Feeling any better?
I'm still not completely over it, but I feel a ton better than I did.
I'm glad you're feeling better. You have the heat on instead of the air conditioner. That's awesome.
It's a little cold today.
All right, people.
When your eyes might greenhouse.